Oh, this long hair is going to be a challenge. I don't like the way it sticks out. I never let my hair grow very long. Even when I was in a band, I would usually keep it trimmed pretty, not real short, but, at least where I didn't have, pieces of it sticking out all over the place. And so this is quite an experience. Along with the beard that I'm attempting to grow, I'm having a little trouble on the sides for reasons I can't really explain right now. But I definitely have a problem there. Um, yeah, this is quite an experience here that I'm going through, and I've got another few days left, and then I get to put it to use, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to keep it. I haven't really decided that. I'll probably at least get a trim on the hair. I'm not sure about the beard. I might let it keep coming. Hello, everyone. Today is the 3rd of April, 2023. In the description box below is something that I think you might find interesting. You might wonder, well, Roy, why did you label this video the way you did? Why did you title it the way you did? Well, the reason is because if I was really too forthright about my feelings on the subject, the video would be censored. I'd probably receive a strike and maybe even lose my channel because it's so controversial what I think about all this. I've said about it, said a lot about it in a lot of different ways over the last few months, really the last few years, for a long time. Since I explained the other night, for about 4 decades, I've been saying that this is where this is headed. And yeah, I could talk about all the really bad stuff that's going on, but this is at the core. This is at the core. Almost everything else that's going on, you look at this, and it's at the core of why it's happening. In the description box is something that I never thought I would see happen, and I was fooling myself. Let me go back a few years. In 2002, late 2002, I bought 2 Harley motorcycles. I bought a 2003 Centennial Sportster, silver over black, 1200cc, and I bought a Harley Davidson Wide Glide Centennial as well, silver over black, and of course they're around 1400cc. A couple of years later, Harley had a big centennial celebration. Actually, it may have even been that year. I don't really remember exactly. It probably was. I think it was the centennial celebration. Up in Milwaukee, Harley Davidson had a big celebration. And guess who the surprise music entertainment was? For those of you who don't know, I'll just tell you. Was it ZZ Top? No. Was it Def Leppard? No. Was it Leonard Skinner? No. It was Elton John. Wow. Now, I like Elton John's music. I'll admit it. I might have a problem with him to some extent. I'm not going to get into any details. But Elton John at the centennial celebration for Harley Davidson. By the way, today's been a hell of a day. This is a Canadian whiskey. No, it's not Crown Royal. It's actually my family label. Let me go get it and I'll show it to you. Hi, BP Earthwatch. How you doing? Jesse's here. That always makes me happy. And since people like to make fun of me, having a little liquid refreshment, liquid courage, there it is right there. Now, this stuff isn't real expensive. It's about $10 for one liter bottle. And it's only 40%. But you know what? I hate to tell you that if you drink Crown Royal, this is as good as Crown Royal and it's a third the price. Just saying. So I'm having a little bit of that and some seltzer water. For those of you who say that I'm sinning greatly because I'm imbibing in alcohol, so be it. But back to my main story. So that happened at the Harley-Davidson Centennial celebration. I believe it was the Centennial. Could have been a couple of years later, but I think that was the one. I did not go. Well, now, the final bastion of male-female relationships, even though there are a lot of sad stories in the songs and, love and broken hearts and all of that. The last bastion of American I don't even know what to call it now. The American experience of self-reliance and men and women relying on each other to build the frontier and to carry on their posterity to futures untold. Guess what they had at the CMA last night? Anybody know? Anybody know what they did at the Country Music Awards? Who they put on center stage at the Country Music Awards? Well, thank goodness we're showing our equity and our diversity. Yeah, I'm so proud. Like the NFL doing the same thing. The NFL on the Country Music Awards are putting out that we need equity and understanding and diversity. And if I couched it in any other terms, I'd be censored or thrown off YouTube. But you should know how I look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, America is done. It has a mortal wound. Jelly Roll was good. Jesse, you always make me smile. I saw a tweet. I'm not going to say who it was from. I saw a tweet today from an individual that said, and he's not mistaken. It's just that it's past this point where conservative, Christian valued activists can make a difference. I'm sorry, he was saying that we need to do the same thing that the leftist Marxists are doing. We need to get out there and make noise and be activists. Ladies and gentlemen, no. If you're a Christian and you believe the scriptures, you need to stand up for what's true. But the scriptures tell you to get the almost slipped there. A lady who told me not to use cuss words anymore. I can refrain on this one. Scriptures say get the hell out of Dodge. They're still going to hunt you down, just like the Romans did the Jews in the first century. Hunted them all over the Middle East and even into northern Africa. Wasn't the Christians they were killing, it was the Jews. How history can be rewritten is amazing. The true Christians fled to Pella, as I've often explained. But that's lost in the modern retelling of history. So, the CMA, and that's the Country Music Awards, had this celebration last night, and those idiots in the audience were acting like it was a wonderful thing. The last bastion of American common sense. And I guess that doesn't make sense anymore because common sense, as my son Jeremy says, it's it's not anymore. Common sense is a bad thing these days because the commonality is so reprehensible the way it is manifested in today's world. By the way, if you didn't notice, I had a lot of trouble the other day when I was trying to upload. They changed some of the formats on YouTube, and I wasn't what was going on. It caused me some difficulty, as you know. It would not upload. The live stream would not go, and apparently other people were having that problem. And then the next day, I was out on the road and I stopped at a place and went in and tried to do a live stream, and the resolution and the field of view on the image was so radically different. I had to try to make adjustments on that, and I apologize for all of the delays in that. I actually had a friend of mine said, I had my brother who was going to watch you on that live stream, but he got so frustrated with you having to constantly change things that he finally gave up. I don't blame him. I probably would have done the same thing. But now I'm back in my normal little studio here, and I kind of know what the parameters are here, with the exception of when they make these changes on the programming. Then I have like the other night when I couldn't get it to go up. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, America's received a mortal wound, and despite the fact that these people say we need to keep working at this, we need to keep out there, we need to keep pushing forward, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a limited hangout. I'm not telling you these things to discourage you from trying to take action because I want you to. The only way we get out of this, and it's going to be bad enough, is if a few states stand up, competent authorities, which the feds won't recognize, but it's better than standing alone because that's not going to do a damn bit of good. A few states stand up and say, we aren't going down this road. We had people today not attacking the fact that, American conservatives, men and women relationships are being attacked by a social Darwinism and Marxism to the detriment of true rights. March in Tennessee onto the state capitol demanding personal protection control. Of course, my understanding is that they were from a very liberal university, Vanderbilt University. That should tell you something. But they marched on the state capitol. Those activists are out there, and they weren't harassed. What would happen, ladies and gentlemen, if you do that? Like, people are trying to say, you need to go and demonstrate in New York over this indictment of Trump. Really? Yeah, right. Yeah. You see, the establishment doesn't go after those who support its position of the denial of liberty, the attack on personal rights, God-given rights that the government is supposed to protect. The government doesn't give those, and the government can't take them away legitimately. They're God-given rights that the government is required to protect. They don't. Legal Man would say, well, this has always been the case, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Legal Man. I understand where you're coming from. Legal Man, by the way, is on on Twitter. He has a blog too, the Quash, I think it's called, his own .com, I think. But now, we saw the NFL go down this road with that, and with the, of course, the OWS and all that. And now we have the Country Music Awards, supposedly the last bastion of manifest reality. you know, Even the sad parts now succumb and put this debauchery out there for everyone to see and to applaud. And of course, that's exactly what we should do. I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, we should do that. We should applaud it. Yes, applaud it. Equity, equity. Yes, yes, yes. And then we should have joined with the Vanderbilt people and stormed the Tennessee Capitol demanding self-protection control, because it's not about undermining our basic human decency. It's about holding a tool accountable, because they want to overwhelm you with the force of what they consider to be the majority. By the way, the Constitution was put together to prevent majoritarian coercion. In other words, just because the majority could vote to take away your life, the Constitution was supposed to be there to say, no, the majority doesn't count, because there are inalienable rights that take precedence. Well, that's all gone. I'm not fooling myself. You know, despite all the good that Governor Ron DeSantis has done, I'm still suspicious. But do I trust Trump even one iota? No. A leopard can't change its spots. A tiger can't change its stripes. All it can do is pretend to be something else for a while, but the true colors always come through. And his already have in multiple manifestations, which I will not review here. So for those of you who say, Roy, you're drunk again, well, not really. I just didn't eat much today. I went out this morning and I had a thing called a Shasta scramble. Very good, a lot of vegetables and some eggs and cheese. And I had some cottage cheese, coleslaw for breakfast. And then I had a little bit of chili soup here about 2 hours ago. So I haven't eaten a lot today. But when I saw that and I actually saw it earlier today with the Country Music Awards doing this disgusting display. Oh, it's funny, it's entertainment. Don't take it so seriously. Lighten up, Roy. It's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. We were told for years that we were oppressing women, and women needed to rise up in the women's liberation movement and the equal rights and all of that. And where did we end up? Men can go in women's bathrooms, their change rooms, their bedrooms. In the army now, the women can't get upset when there's a male in there because he identifies as a woman. He might have a hard on and ejaculate all over the shower, but that's okay. He identifies as a woman. So it's okay. The government says so. The DOD says so. Do not allow your children to go in the military. discourage them with every ounce of your being. Not only are we doing evil around the world, pretending it's good, but we're allowing that to happen to our children in the military. Military has been a social experimental, a social, an institution for social experimentation for 4 decades at the least, and now it's the worst it's ever been. Yeah, I'm pretty down about this. Why I let it disturb me so, I don't know. Russia continues to be accused by those of the Western so called powers, democracies. And yet, all of the things that we accuse Russia of doing, we do. And we justify it on some nefarious excuse, nebulous excuse. The world's pulling away with the dollar. I was listening today to several commentators, and it's surprising even some of the financial whizzes, which of course I'm not a financial whiz, but I could see that this whole thing with the de-dollarization was going very quickly. Now, some of you will say, well, that's the Antichrist system, and it's going to destroy. It's the Antichrist system that's going to destroy Babylon, so it's just as bad. Well, that might be, but that doesn't change the fact that people are drawing away, countries are drawing away from the hypocrisy, the lies, and the deceit of this place right here. Marco Rubio, little Marky Rubio, even admitted today, or maybe it was yesterday, hey, they're all moving away from the dollar. We're not going to be able to use sanctions anymore if they're not going to follow the dollar. Oh, little Marky Rubio, you finally told a truism, you little piece of crap. They ought to recall you in Florida and throw your ass out of that Senate seat. But they won't. Mitch McConnell, despite the fact he's anti-Trump, or at least that's the image that's presented, nobody gets rid of him. And he's in Kentucky. Why don't they recall him? Why can't Senator Rand Paul? Well, that would be politically impossible. But McConnell ought to be recalled by the people of Kentucky, and he isn't. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've said for a long time, we are on our own. They want to take away your ability to self-defend because of the children. We've got to protect the children. Do you realize that every tyrannical scheme in the last several hundred years that's been hatched has been for the protection of the children? And then they burn them in the ovens, or they bomb them like they did at Waco. Oh, there's child abuse. We've got to protect them. We can't let that happen. So we use military munitions to blow the hell out of them and burn them alive. You were at Waco, Rainmaker? I wasn't at Waco. I was at Bundy Ranch. Same sort of thing. Same thing, actually. It was actually the same thing. Bundy Ranch, there were enough people on the outside and enough inside media coverage, both alternative and mainstream, that they couldn't quite pull it off. But they were going to kill all those people. They were going to do that. They were. And they knew I knew that. I'm talking about The perpetrators, they knew that I knew what they were going to do. As a matter of fact, well, I won't go into that. Well, I could go on and on. Again, I'm very disappointed that the Country Music Awards would finally succumb to this satanic. Whoops, I shouldn't have said that. This I'm so happy, read between the lines. I'm so happy that the Country Music Awards decided to really push equity and diversity. It's so comforting to me, and I'm so very, very happy that their eyes were finally opened. And that we can get rid of the male and female relationship. We can cut little kids up from here to there, and it's okay. Even though we should be helping them to mature into the adults that they're meant to be, we're not going to do that. We're going to interdict the maturation, individuation process, and we're going to form them in our image. We're going to reproduce them in our image by all of this entertainment. And I'm so happy that they're doing this for all those wonderful little kids and all these wonderful women, especially, that are really wondering, where they should be in the world. And now they know. They're really men. They're really men. Okay, I think I've made my point. Hopefully, I've done it in such a way that you read between the lines because you're able to, but that the controls don't quite get the message, although I've slipped a couple times. And I'm going to go finish this. By the way, I did have a little Irish whiskey just before I poured this. This is about an ounce of that Potter's Canadian whiskey with tonic water. But before I had that, I did have a dram, or an ounce and a quarter, ounce and a half, whatever it is, of some Irish whiskey. Sometimes you just have to admit, there's that old saying, the whole world is crazy except you and me. Sometimes I wonder about you. And here we are. The Country Music Awards, the NFL, Harley Davidson. Babylon shall be destroyed in one day. Come out of her, my people, lest ye take part in her plagues. I'm out of here. You all have a nice night.